Hey everybody, it's Cybercrime Month, and this month we're focusing on, well, cybercrime. Today it's going to be about business email compromise, or BEC. Well, what is BEC? What is business email compromise, or BEC? It's a cybercrime acronymity. There's no time to compromise. The cyber criminals are sending lies. Well, back in 2013, the FBI began tracking an emerging financial cyber threat, which was called, at the time, and still is, business email compromise, or BEC. This was and is an issue where organized crime groups target large and small companies and organizations in every U.S. state and other countries around the world. They will get after anybody from nonprofits to well-known corporations to even churches and school systems. Losses are in the billions of dollars every year and going up. BEC relies on the oldest trick in a con artist's handbook: deception. But according to law enforcement officials, the level of sophistication in this multifaceted global fraud is unprecedented, and professional business people continue to fall victim to the scheme. We have to understand that BEC is carried out by transnational criminal organizations that actually employ lawyers, linguists, hackers, even social engineers. In BEC, it can take a variety of forms. But in just about every case, the scammers target employees with access to company finances and trick them into making wire transfers to bank accounts thought to belong to trusted partners. Except the money ends up in accounts controlled by the criminals. Or they get them to send the money on prepaid cards. Or they get them to send it via the ECH. The reality is they use whatever method they can to get the money. It's all a matter of how fast they can get it. BEC is a serious threat on a global scale. And the criminal organizations that commit this fraud, well, they're continually honing their techniques and their skills to be able to exploit victims. Can you imagine if they only use their powers for good? But they don't. Some of the techniques include online ploys such as spear phishing, social engineering, identity theft, email spoofing, and the use of malware, all of which I detail more in upcoming videos in this month as we focus on cybercrime. Now, the perpetrators are so practiced at their craft, deception is often difficult to uncover until it's too late. According to the FBI's IC3, Internet Complaint Center, the BEC scams continue to grow and evolve and target businesses of all size. And since January of 2015, there has been a 1,300% increase in identified exposed losses, now totaling over $3 billion. Although the perpetrators of BEC use a variety of tactics to fool their victims, a common scheme is CEO impersonation, which involves the criminal group gaining access to a company's network through a spear phishing attack and the use of malware. This goes undetected. They actually may spend weeks or months studying the organization's vendors, the billing system, even the CEO's style of email communication, as well as learning their travel schedule. Now, the best way to avoid being exploited in this type of attack is to simply walk into the CEO's office and speak to them directly. Or maybe you call them up if you got their cell phone number, right? But don't rely on the email alone. In fact, don't reply back to the email. I've done that as a joke once. Yeah, seriously, I've received some of these emails and I was like, you want me to send money now? What would be the best way? Do you have an address? Is there even a better way I can send it back? Of course, I was being sarcastic with them. If you're on a level at your organization where you can just walk into the CEO's office, or you maybe even get them on the phone, well, then you need to get with someone who can. Because when the criminals strike, they do so when the time is right. In fact, they often do so when the CEO is away from the office, maybe on an important business trip. The scammers will then send a bogus email from the CEO to a targeted employee who typically is going to be in the finance office, maybe a bookkeeper, an accountant, a controller of some type, maybe even the chief financial officer. I've seen this actually happen to CFOs. The request is made for an immediate wire transfer, usually to a trusted vendor. The targeted employee believes he or she is sending money to a familiar account, that they're doing what they need to do to help the business along, maybe even seal an important deal, just as they've always done in the past. But the account numbers are slightly different. And the transfer of what might be tens, hundreds, or even thousands of dollars ends up in a different account that is controlled by the criminal group. Now, if the fraud is not discovered in time, the money is hard, if not impossible, to be able to recover. Criminal groups use money laundering techniques and money mules worldwide so that they can drain the funds into other accounts that make it even more difficult to be able to trace. Now, besides walking into the CEO's office or calling them on their cell phone, here are some other things you can do, because I know that's not always going to be available to you. And some of those methods are going to be create intrusion detection system rules that flag emails with extensions that are similar but different to the company email. Create email rules to flag email communications where the reply email address is different from the email address shown. If your system can't flag it, your employees should be looking for it. Color code virtual correspondence so emails from employee internal accounts are one color and emails from non-employee external accounts are another. I'm actually a big fan of this one because it helps with productivity. I will actually color code from certain departments or from certain people that maybe, I don't know, the ones I report to that need to be more important, or the ones that report to me that are even much more important and I need to make sure getting taken care of. Another thing you can do, verify changes in vendor payment by adding additional layers of authentication. Call them, verify, get somebody else in the company to sign off on it. Confirm requests for transfers of funds by using the phone verification as part of that two-factor authentication. And make sure that you're validating the numbers you're calling and the emails you're using. I even say carefully scrutinize all email requests for transfers of funds to determine if the requests are, well, out of the ordinary. Business email compromise is a real threat. We have more on cybercrime coming up this month, so please do make sure to tune in for all the videos. We have them on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. On Mondays, it's more of the basics. On Wednesdays, it's who are the players in the industry that can be able to assist you. And on Fridays, it's really a focus on faster cybercrime. If you got any questions or comments, please put them in below. You can always message me here on LinkedIn, or you can send me an email, kevin@paymentsprofessor.com. Thank you for watching this video. Look forward to seeing you in future videos.